go right here.
Wow. What if we turned ours that color?
How would you do that?
I don't know.
Do you wish we had ceiling height like that?
Is it actually, like, it's not rusty panels, is it?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
We just sold our house a few months ago and have been living full-time in our trailer, which is 25 feet. A hot debate in our trailer is how big our eventual home will be. He would like it to be, it's so small. I would like it to be, like 1,500 square feet. So we're trying.
1,200 was reasonable.
Bigger than 25 feet by 8?
Yeah, it's like 184 square feet of living space. So we're trying to meet in the middle. When he told me about this place and we looked it up online, I could not wait to get here. How did you get into this?
Oh man, well it was pretty organic, really. So 20 years ago, I had a little timber framing shop in BC, and that was coming from a background of construction where we were building houses on site and stick frame houses like everyone else. But in our little shop, it was 22 by 22, and we're doing these big timber frames, and they're much bigger than our shop. So we never really get to try anything out. So we get really good at planning in our shop and maximize the potential of that. And so as time progressed, we get into bigger homes. We built wall panels in the shops. We shipped them to the site and put them together. And we really liked what we could get done in the comfort of our shop versus all the variables we had to deal with on site and scheduling. So over the years, we just started doing more and more things in the shop. Our last big traditional site project was down the shore a little ways. We expanded the quarterdeck resort. We added a restaurant that had footings 7 feet below sea level and a 3-towered hotel. And that winter, with the wind howling, we wrote our manual to do modular homes, and we did our first. That was 2015, and we haven't looked back ever since. We've been working out of this shop.
Well, this is a level of fit and finish that you're not experiencing in the Airstream.
Hello, I'd like to live here.
So does it feel bigger than the Airstream?
Okay, so after this, we'll take you out into our home and you can really appreciate.
All right, it sounds good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a lovely reclaimed concrete, kind of really organic feel to it.
I'm noticing some colors and textures going on back here. What's happening?
Full-on mood board. So at Loyal, we really like bringing you outside, and we really like bringing the outside inside, and just kind of smooth out that transition. We want you to enjoy nature with your slippers on a cold, windy, cloudy day. And so this kind of helps with that feel. We've got a weathering steel here. This is what it looks like, by the way, before it's been exposed to the elements.
This is this?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of elements in this alloy that protect themselves. Copper, chromium, aluminum, and nickel among them. Way more than I can list, but that's what you're seeing here. It oxidizes, it protects itself, the panel goes inert. And if we're ever to be scarred or suffer any trauma, it'll just heal itself again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this will last a long time. Our houses will be part of an archaeological discovery in 10,000 years. They'll be trying to figure out how we lived based on some of these skins. It's pretty heavy, right? You're seeing our base package here. So when you enter your address into the build-in price, this is what you get. Your delivered cost, Canadian birch on the ceiling, Canadian birch on the walls. We've got pine trim, Anderson windows and doors with pine frames. And I guess that's, and this layout. So they have added an extra bathroom. We're talking about customizations. There's an ensuite. So it's a 2-bathroom place. We haven't really got there yet, but this is the flex room. So this room is designed to be isolated. When you have a guest staying for the night, you can close it all off, and they'll operate a small door here. So there are access to these upper spaces. This space becomes private. And another thing you're not seeing yet is all the built-in details. So the cabinet crew is just kind of getting going. And these houses are really just a big cabinet. There's not a lot of wall space left over when we're done fitting in all the functionality.
Is it the construction of the way you're building the homes that make it like a low carbon footprint, or how they run, or both?
It's a lot, it's all of it. So right from our progress, the way we can control waste, through the structure, the envelope, the way they interact, for the life of the home, and the longevity of the materials, the air barrier breathes at 9 times the rate of like a typical air barrier on our market, like all those things. So it's it's the DNA of the house.
And why is that important to you?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess like, we're just supposed to build things to last, right? And we're supposed to build things that make it easy for people who are living in them. You can't offer this level of detail and quality and deliver it differently every single time and repackage it every single time for this price. There's a big price to be paid for being the first one to do it a certain way. And there's also the experimental element of that. You know, if you're bringing in a fixture from Italy that no one in Canada has ever used before, then someone's got to figure out how to integrate it, and someone's going to warranty it. So the concept here, again, like another page out of the auto industry's book, is like, let's make it great, let's make it awesome, but let's also take that experimental element out of it and lean on manufacturers we trust, appliance lines we trust that have excellent after-sales warranty service. And so take all that uncertainty out of it and just give you all the good stuff, the cream on top only.
What made you want to build modular structures compared to the traditional builds?
Yeah, it's the process. Like when I hear you say things like 2,500 square feet and 1,200 square feet, to me that sounds massive now, because we've focused, right? Sorry, not helping the case, but we've just really focused on these efficiencies.
What's the story with the plane up there?
My grandfather made that for my mom, actually. So she used to sit on it, and it was made after the tail dragger style. So you can sit on that. There's a little seat, little steering wheel, and the back end will kind of spin around when you drive it around inside. I tried that a few times in here, and that's why they hung it up there. We kind of think of them as micro dwellings. I mean, they are compact. They're not tiny, but they got the full functionality. Right? They feel big. This floor plan is 604 square feet, so it's not big, but it's not tiny either.
People also hear the square footage and they don't think of the verticality in a space. So
Right.
even though it's 604 square feet, there's so much ceiling and storage, like you said, that it's got the function of a much larger space.
That's right. I can't wait to get you into our home down the coast.
Pretty fancy.
Welcome to the Salty, guys. Salty on Long Cove. There's some garbage. Lighthouse over there.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, when you go inside, you'll be able to appreciate we lined up the master bedroom corridor to look through the window at the lighthouse. This was fun. We get to sight this one. We don't always get to sight the home, right? Depending on where it goes.
So how did you choose here?
Well, we didn't choose the lot. We
Okay.
just chose, it was chosen by the clients. So we just like help them kind of plan the site out, the views, the orientation, and all the things they kind of take
Oh,
in.
man.
But let's go look at it from the inside, shall
Let's
we?
do it!
After you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Yep, that's even better than I imagined it would be.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It really is. Like every surface.
So the other one has the fireplace here that we looked at.
That's right. They've eliminated the fireplace. It's a standard feature, but there's going to be a piano here.
Oh!
Yes.
Interesting.
She teaches at a conservatory.
One thing we haven't discussed really, I think, was what is the price tag like on these homes?
This one starts at $350.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
not bad at all. And
Does
how
it-
many square feet did you say this?
This is 604. And of course, it does include your appliances and the built-in furniture. There's a kind of a cool reveal moment. This Murphy bed sets itself down. So if I were to walk in here and turn this daytime workstation and just give it a little bit, it might be locked. Yeah, it's locked. A little bit of a tug.
Wow.
Perfect.
I love how the hydraulics make it sound like an airship is
Right?
going to take off.
Yep.
And of course, completing the privacy of this room.
Very nice.
Oh, wow.
Like, we offer a lot of different feels on the inside. And the salty and this bleach feel with the monolithic tones in the birch were really designed for when there's a big view. And in a more forest setting where there's a lot more foreground view, then we tend to see people gravitate towards the natural tones, maybe the busier grains like a vertical grain Douglas fir. So it's a lot warmer and a lot closer feeling, whereas this one, there's no distractions in here.
No.
You're really, meant to just kind of gaze out across the water.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't get sick of that.
Thank you so much for showing us everything, Jonathan. It was just amazing to see from start to finish the quality you guys are putting into what you do here.
Well, you're welcome. My pleasure to host you both. Thanks for including us on your journey.
Happy to.
Thank you for giving us all kinds of ideas and how we can maybe meet in the middle with what we both want.
Good luck with that. It's always the challenge.
Man, that was so cool. Like, I knew it was going to be, but oh my God,
Oh, it's just unreal.
unreal. The process, everything they're doing. Well, they've definitely given us a lot to think about for our build.
Agreed.
We've got all kinds of ideas percolating.
I bet. I can see the mood boards already.
For now, the mood is ocean opulence.
Sustainability takes sort of 3 different characteristics, I would say. So you could think of it as things such as social sustainability. You could also think about it as ecological sustainability, but you could also think about it as economic sustainability. And they're all pretty important, and they're different in different projects. Here we are located next to the Halifax Central Library, and of course it actually won an award as the most sustainable building of the year, but it won it not because it's ecologically sustainable, but because it's socially sustainable. It's sort of all about different people in this community coming together, and it's a place for everybody in the city. So that's a sort of different way of thinking about it than perhaps you have been. But perhaps to get it back to even to the way that you're thinking about a home. We've also recently worked on a mass timber project, which is now looking at bringing that idea of closing the footprint, bringing something with low embodied carbon and building with it.
So what's the benefit of having the ceiling all as this mass timber?
Well, so of course it means that it's all made of wood, and it can support the types of spans that you would normally see with steel or with concrete. When people are in wood buildings, they feel a sort of affinity with nature, because of course you've got all this wood around you, so it's really calming for people. Now, what we can do with wood is, if the wood is large enough, it has what's called the char factor built into it. So if there was ever a fire, it has the strength to withstand a certain amount of time, but will develop a char on it. And if you think back to some of the old buildings that were in cities, so the factories, the railway stations, they were often made from very large pieces of wood, and they sort of were able to withstand different fires in cities for that reason. We also wanted to have a building that also had housing in it. There are actually 7 units in this building, so we wanted to do our part to provide housing.
What do you think of that aesthetic?
Oh, I love it. I love the beams, I love the ceiling, and a lot of the pictures I've been saving, like wood ceilings is quite a popular design these days as opposed to the drywall. But I've only ever thought of it as an aesthetic, not thinking about the renewable resource part of it either.
For sure. And probably when you've looked at it, it's been more of a cladding material.
Definitely.
Or maybe you've seen it as sort of as the primary structure, but then perhaps not as the sort of secondary structure, creating the floors.
You've given us so much to think about. Like, I don't know what I was expected coming in here thinking, yeah, let's talk about sustainability and building, but now I'm thinking about our lot so differently than I was when I came in.
Absolutely.
What advice would you offer to us before we even think about designing our build?
Well, study. I mean, I think what you started to do, really study the site, because of course a lot of the site gives you a lot of clues. So it's really the ecology of the site is at the absolute heart of design. So whether that ecology is, how water moves through it, what grows, what sort of vegetation is on the site, the way the sun, the orientation of it, and the way the wind blows, those are absolutely key. And many of those, you can work with, and that's what you should do.
First co-housing community.
Curious to see what that's all about.
Kate and Dylan, you guys are one of the founding families here at Treehouse Community. How did that happen?
Yeah, well, we had a dream about a dozen years ago. My husband and I really wanted to live in housing that reflected our values. So we really care about living more lightly on the earth. We care about being good neighbors and just living in a place and in a way that reflects what we think is important in the world. And we were looking for housing that reflected that. So, and we love Bridgewater. So we came across this concept called co-housing, and there isn't one in Bridgewater already. So we decided that we would try to build it. And we've made 3 attempts. This attempt started 5 years ago, and it's happening, obviously. We're third time's a charm, and here we are. It's a village of 30 homes, and people are starting to move in.
So for people who aren't familiar with co-housing, what is a co-housing community?
Yeah, so it's you can think of it like a village, right? So it's an intentionally developed and designed and built little village, little community, where every household has their own private home. And there's also a lot of shared amenities as well. So behind you is our common house. So that whole building is shared space. We can have big group meals over there. There's a co-working space, there's a playroom, there's a fitness room, there's guest rooms. So all of that, and a workshop behind. So all of that is available to share as shared space. But then we also have our private homes where we can go and just live our lives with our household. So it's kind of a blend of both of those things. And co-housing is self-developed by the residents who are going to live there. So myself and these other 29 households came together. We formed a development company. We're hiring out all these professionals. We are investing in building it ourselves. And so that's co-housing in a nutshell. There's about 15 or 20 of them in Canada, but this is the first one in Atlantic Canada.
We've always been interested in co-housing. We want to live in a community with other people where we're sharing things in common, and we have ready-made neighbors and friends and all that. And so we've been involved via Zoom for the past 2 years, and we really wanted to move in person, so we came here in August. It wasn't quite what we expected. We thought it would be a bit more finished than this, but it is what it is. The other reason was because of the ecological aspects. Like we've never owned a car, but occasionally we need a car. So the fact that there was a car sharing co-op here, and there was all electrical vehicles, that really appealed to us. And all the other ecological aspects, the fact that it's on 15 acres of forest, which are never going to be developed, and that we have solar panels, and that we have passive homes, that really appealed to us as well. And so we really wanted to be part of this community.
There's something about having the proximity of neighbors that just right here at our doorstep. So, for example, this is a construction zone, obviously, during the day, but at 5 o'clock when the construction's finished, the kids, they all come out and play together, and it's right here, and it doesn't have to be scheduled play dates or whatever. It just happens spontaneously.
You must be Emma.
Hello, welcome.
Oh, I'm very excited to see inside.
Come on in.
We'll get her. So it's okay we take them in?
Yeah, mudroom is meant to be filled with mud.
Wow, this is how long have you been in here now?
We moved in the beginning of September, so we were one of the earlier ones that came in without everything finished. So you notice the countertop isn't installed.
Oh, I actually didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, you'll get a taste of, this is half of it here. So there's a number of things that aren't completed, but we were eager to get in the space. And at the time I had a 1-year-old, and it really resonated to me that the benefits of living in close proximity to folks, especially the folks that shared similar values, was going to offer a lot of benefits to myself as a young parent and to my family. You know, that we're meeting friends of all ages. Maybe especially with COVID, you realize that like I spend a lot of time at home, and like the people that are on walking distance away are the more people that I see. If I need to load everyone to their car seats and drive even 10 minutes to a friend's house, it's much less likely to happen. And then this idea of, you know, similar to last night, we had, let's say, 2 social gatherings around supper time. Like, we'll just wander down to the garden and plant a tree to celebrate a family moving in. And then after supper, we'll wander up and, you know, share a drink and play some games to welcome another family that moved in. And then just like roll out of your house, roll out of that space, walk a couple steps and come back home.
This idea of, oh, let's just get a group of our friends together and go buy that property and live there together, right? Like I hear that often. And to some extent, I think we started out with that kind of idea too, but this was not just a group of pre-existing friends that started this at all. In fact, there's only 2 households of the 30 that I even knew of before we started this. And they weren't necessarily close friends at that time. And so, yeah, so we didn't really quite know who was going to come to this. But the advice that we got from those in the co-housing world was, you know, set a really clear and strong vision for what you intend this to be. And if you can do that, then that vision then attracts people.
Absolutely.
And you know, essentially it's a self-selective thing. If you can get behind this vision and are willing to pull all in the same direction towards that vision, then you're welcome here. And that has been enough.
Okay, I'm not even going to pretend that my mind has not changed completely. When you told me about this and we looked into it, I thought, cohabitating, no, this is not for me. I can't imagine how anybody does this. But now I can see so many, it's not what I thought it was at all.
I knew you were gonna love it.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you think this is for you when you heard about it?
Kind of.
No, I was...
It's even better than I thought it would be, but it's what I thought it would be.
See, I wasn't thinking about the quality of it. Like, I knew it would be a really nicely designed, modern space. But just like Emma said, I thought it would be full of people who were like extroverted and like, you gotta do all these community activities. And I'm like, no, we're moving out because we want, we're moving further away from the community because we wanna be like quieter and not have neighbors on top of us. But like talking about like the one lawnmower, the shared resources, the like if you need help, it's oh God, I don't have any milk, anything like that.
Makes
like
perfect sense.
It really does. I can see why they sold all the units out so quickly. It's an interesting vision.
More to think about.
More to think about.
How close do you want to be before you see it?
I mean, as close as they want.
I think you can see it right now. Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh!
What color is that?
Pacific turquoise. Do you like it?
I do. I was wondering if you would.
And then this will be our music / exercise / my closet.
Yeah, walk-in closet.
Walk-in closet, exercise, drum room.